Okay, so I think we've started recording now. Okay. So this is my R program. I spent the last 2 weeks kind of going over and learning about how to use R and made this short little program. It's nothing crazy special, but it kind of displays a lot of things, basic things that I learned about R over the last 2 weeks. So basically, we have our main function. I wanted to use CSV files, so here's my CSV file with the name of a student and their score. I just kind of made all these up. Um, and then the CSV input, because we're using a CSV file, we put this as true. As when I was initially working on all this and didn't want to use a CSV file, just kind of wanted to do everything else. I just had here in my load data function this basic not using CSV file setup for the data frames. So initially we pass in that we're using a CSV file. So this is initialized as false, but once we pass in the true variable, it becomes true. And so we find because the file path is right here, so we pass that in. If the file exists and we use the CSV, then we read all of this into the data frame, the whole file, and then we loaded however many rows of students from the file path. Okay, great. And then we add an ID to each of those as well. Otherwise, we would just use the non-CSV data. So then we call, then we call the grade students function. So in the grade students function, we have a character data type, and under going to grades with each row from the data frame, we have a logical data type going to past students with each row in the data frame. And then here we loop through each row in sequence. And so we assigned a score to each of the students. And so that score gets it to score. And if the score is greater than 90, then it's an A, and a B if it's greater than 80, and so on. And then the pass status, if their grade is greater than 60, then we give them pass status as well. And so we assign all of that so A, B, C, D, or F to the grades, and then we use the factor data type for the grades, and that goes into grade, and then pass status goes to pass, and so that goes for every line in the data frame. And then once we finish with that, we go to the calculate stats. This is all done through the main, of course. We're passing in the data frame to these last two functions. In the calculate stats function, we have the calculate the mean and the max and the min, pretty straightforward, and return all of those. And then the display summary, which is basically where we just display it in the format that we want. So we have our summary, and then for every line in the data frame, we put out the ID, which is right here, and then we have a little dash to concatenate with. And then we have the name, and then we put a dash again, and then their score, and then the grade, which is this, and then the pass, whether they pass or fail, the logical Boolean right there. So then we also display the class average, the highest and lowest scores. And that's it. So when we run it, I didn't click it yet. So that's the last time I ran it. And then we can see that we have, evidently not the last time I ran it. Let me try this again. There we go. So as we can see, we loaded 100 students. This is the format that we see it in. We assign an ID to all 100 of them, and we get their score of each of the students and the grade that they got and whether they pass or fail. And then we determine a class average, the highest score and lowest score. Now, if I could change anything about this, there'd be several things that I'd change. First, I'd like to be able to have a graph. I think that would be really good. Graph would be really nice to be able to see how all this works, and that's definitely doable in R. It didn't do it for this. Something else that I would like to do. I don't know if you guys can see me. I hope you've been able to see me this whole time. Something else that I would like to do is to be able to have a different format for this, or maybe put it in a format where it's readable by other programming languages, so it could be displayed on like a website or something like that, or in a better table. This is just pretty basic, but pretty self-explanatory for each of the different people. So yeah, it's been a really good time learning about R, and I hope this video just shows well what I've learned over the last 2 weeks. So yeah.